Shedeur Sanders' NFL fate reportedly sealed as Kevin Stefanski stalls Browns' QB1 decision. Cleveland, Ohio. The winds of hope that once swept through Cleveland now echo with eerie silence. After months of quarterback roulette, public optimism, and front office gambles, the Cleveland Browns quarterback room has morphed from a promising carousel into a claustrophobic pressure chamber. At the center of that pressure, a name that once carried expectations of greatness, Shedeur Sanders. But today, as the Browns' preseason camp looms, those expectations appear to be quietly unraveling. Not only is Shedeur Sanders buried at the bottom of the team's depth chart, but reports now suggest his future with the franchise may already be sealed, before he's even taken a meaningful snap. The Browns' wild 6-month QB saga. To truly understand the state of the Browns' quarterback room, rewind just 6 months. Cleveland made headlines with 3 major quarterback moves. They brought back aging legend and Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco, traded for once-touted first-round pick Kenny Pickett, and used a surprising late-round draft pick on Shedeur Sanders, the son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders and one of college football's most talked-about prospects. At the time, the front office's approach seemed bold and refreshing. A mix of proven veterans, reclamation projects, and raw rookie talent, all competing for a wide-open QB1 spot. For a franchise known more for QB instability than playoff success, the gamble felt, at least briefly, like a plan. But that hope was short-lived. Cleveland's familiar curse: promise, pressure, and silence. If there's anything Cleveland fans have learned over the years, it's that the quiet before the storm isn't peaceful, it's ominous. Once again, promise has been replaced by uncertainty. And uncertainty has now turned into silence. The kind that leaves fans guessing, players questioning, and prospects forgotten. Shedeur Sanders may be the biggest casualty of that silence. Though some preseason analysts had pegged Sanders as a future starter or even a breakout rookie candidate, the latest internal reports paint a much bleaker picture. As of July, Sanders is officially 4th on the Browns' quarterback depth chart. Not 2nd, not 3rd, 4th. That places him behind 39-year-old Joe Flacco, who most assumed would be a backup mentor. Behind Kenny Pickett, a Pittsburgh cast-off with baggage. And behind fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel, who was drafted just 1 round earlier but has reportedly outshined Sanders in nearly every measurable metric so far. Even more stunning, that doesn't yet factor in Deshaun Watson, who remains in recovery and is expected to reclaim his starting role if healthy. In short, Sanders isn't just a long shot, he's an afterthought. From prime hype to practice mop-up duty, it's easy to forget now, but Shedeur Sanders entered the 2024 college football season as one of the sport's most electrifying and polarizing figures. Under his father's leadership at Colorado, Shedeur put up impressive numbers, showcasing a strong arm, quick instincts, and a flair for prime-time moments. He was bold, brash, and utterly confident, exactly what many thought the NFL needed. But the NFL isn't built on hype, and training camp isn't built for highlights. Despite a few viral OTA clips and some solid early throws, Sanders has failed to consistently impress Cleveland's coaching staff. According to team insiders, he's still struggling with some of the same flaws that plagued his college scouting reports. Holding onto the ball too long, difficulty reading complex defenses, and a slow mental clock in the pocket. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel, shorter, quieter, and less hyped, has quietly moved ahead of Sanders by doing all the little things right. Crisp footwork, quicker progressions, better decision-making, and a tighter grasp of the playbook. For now, Sanders has been relegated to mop-up reps in team drills. No first-team snaps. No real chance to prove himself under the brightest lights. And that's where the story starts to feel grim. Is Cleveland already planning life after Sanders and Gabriel? In a development that's further dimmed the rookie duo's outlook, Brown sources now suggest that the team may already be eyeing next year's NFL draft for a quarterback reset. ESPN analyst Mark Stolt recently reported that the Browns could target South Carolina's dual-threat phenom Lenora Sellers, an athletic 6 feet 3 inches, 240-pound QB with a cannon arm, elite mobility, and a stat sheet that screams franchise potential. If that happens, and if neither Sanders nor Gabriel convinces the team by the end of the 2025 season, it may be curtains for both. In other words, this QB competition may be nothing more than a holding pattern while the franchise stalls for its next real quarterback. Kevin Stefanski's silence speaks loudest. Despite all the speculation and internal jostling, head coach Kevin Stefanski has refused to publicly name a starting quarterback. That decision or indecision has been both frustrating and revealing. When asked about the depth chart, Stefanski repeatedly dodges, giving boilerplate responses about competition and wanting to see more. But that lack of clarity has led many around the league to believe he simply doesn't have a solid answer. For players like Sanders, that silence is deafening. Unlike in college, where he was a star and son of the head coach, the NFL offers no such privileges. Here, the pecking order is ruthless. No press conference endorsements, no safety nets, only production and perception. And right now, both are trending in the wrong direction. The Kenny Pickett dilemma. Part of the confusion around Cleveland's QB1 situation stems from the enigma that is Kenny Pickett. The Browns shocked the league by trading for the former Pittsburgh Steelers starter this offseason, but then confused everyone again by declining his fifth-year option, a $22.4 million move that would have locked him in through 2026. Translation: we're interested, but not committed. That lukewarm endorsement has left Pickett in limbo. He's been saying all the right things, bonding with new targets like Jerry Jeudy, and trying to shake off the ghosts of Pittsburgh's offensive disaster under Matt Canada. But there's still a perception that he's merely a placeholder, not a long-term plan. If Pickett isn't the answer, and Flacco's age makes him a short-term bandage, and neither rookie is developing as hoped, then what exactly is Cleveland's plan? Andrew Berry's gamble may backfire. Much of the roster reshuffling falls at the feet of GM Andrew Berry, whose aggressive approach this offseason raised eyebrows and expectations. But now, with no clear QB1, and a depth chart that looks more like a parking lot grid than a competitive roster, fans are starting to ask tough questions. Why draft Shedeur if you didn't believe in him enough to give him reps? Why trade for Pickett if you wouldn't commit to him? Why bring Flacco back if you're going younger? The result of all this is confusion, and confusion breeds instability. What's next for Shedeur Sanders? For Sanders, the road ahead is murky. He's still on the roster, still dressing, still training. But barring a miracle, it seems unlikely he'll climb the ranks this season unless injuries or shocking performances open the door. His supporters point to his raw talent and pedigree. His critics point to the fact that he's barely been mentioned in internal discussions since rookie minicamp. In the eyes of many around the league, Sanders is already a fringe player. And that's a brutal label to shake in your rookie year. If the Browns do cut ties with him, or stash him on the practice squad, it will mark a stunning and swift fall for a quarterback who, not long ago, was trending on every sports network in America. A legacy in peril. There's a deeper subplot here too. Shedeur isn't just a player. He's a Sanders. And Deion Sanders has spent the last 5 years carefully building up his son's legacies, on the field, on social media, and in the public consciousness. If Shedeur flames out in Cleveland, it won't just be a personal setback. It will be a crack in the Prime brand. That pressure, external and internal, is what makes this more than just another rookie quarterback storyline. It's legacy warfare, and right now it's being fought in silence, behind closed doors in Berea, Ohio. Conclusion: a QB room on the brink. As the Browns head into training camp, the quarterback room is less about competition and more about confusion. Joe Flacco offers experience but not long-term value. Kenny Pickett offers hope but not security. Dillon Gabriel offers upside but not polish. And Shedeur Sanders? He offers uncertainty, a wild card who might already be on the outside looking in. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry now have a decision to make. Will they finally name a leader? Or will this QB carousel keep spinning until someone gets thrown off? For Shedeur Sanders, the answer may already be here, and it's not the one he wanted.